Hey y'all, it's your girl Fee. Welcome to the Fee Talk Time. So, I really want to get into the topic of toxic masculinity because it is running rampant like the past couple years. But I think it's getting worse, as the years go by, as the months and the days go by, because I ran across on, let's see, because I ran across a couple of tweets and Facebook posts about men being upset because mothers are buying their sons kitchen sets instead of instead of the little tool sets they have and stuff like that. I like First of all, if you're saying, basically that's given that you basically want your child to grow up and obviously be like you, which means you have no sense of basic life skills because your mother has did everything for you instead of showing you and teaching you basic life things like cooking and cleaning and washing clothes and taking care of kids. It's actually not gender specific. It's really not. It's basic life survival skills. So you're basically telling me that you as a father don't want your child to learn, don't want your son to know how to feed himself. Ordering takeout and stuff is very expensive. So all right, sorry about the light noise, the little back noise or whatever. So, back to what I was saying. As I was saying, it's like, I mean, when that little boy grows up and he gets his own apartment and own home, there's a kitchen in there. So, what do you want him to not be able to cook up and all the way up until he finds a woman that knows how to cook for him? What about, hygiene and keeping that house clean where he stays and stuff like that? Because I'm not gonna say what women, because it is some women out here that is for some odd reason very okay with, some men being dirty and not, cleaning up and all that type of stuff. I don't know, but I can speak for a lot of us that I know we don't want that. So, and then when you think about it, when kids go to daycare and stuff like that, those are usually the first toys that they have in school. Like, even with, you have men that's upset because little boys are playing with dolls and stuff like that. You do realize that also helps them, learn how to be good parents when they're older. We all know a lot of the men out here nowadays, and even before time, they ain't that great. Okay, they is not that great. So basically, you just want to keep that same cycle going, and that's not good. No, the next 3 years or so, we are working on breaking these generational curses that have been set on us that we didn't even ask for. We're learning to raise better human beings. It's not about, this child, a child playing with a kitchen set is going to make them gay later. No. First of all, there's a whole lot of men chefs that know how to cook and stuff like that. What about men? I mean, you a lot of y'all men clearly haven't learned that when you cook for your woman and stuff like that, women appreciate that. And I'm here to tell you that we will gladly go for the men that will, cook here and there, wash them dishes, and we could come home from a nice long day of work, and they could show us that they clean too. What? That is a beautiful thing. Anyway, but it's just, why? Like, why you want that for? Like, why would you want that for these innocent babies that don't ask to come here? And then you want to put down mothers who are talking about, they need to have more fathers in the homes. When in reality, you don't even know. Like, a lot of men, there are a lot of men that actually are in their children's lives that they have a say so, and a lot of men that are secure in their manhood and with themselves in general, they don't have a problem with stuff like that, because why would they? The majority of men that has issues with these types of things, they're not secure within themselves. Like, they probably don't even know, who they are inside anyway, to begin with, and they out here looking down on little kids. Like, when did it become so popular and so important to bash kids for playing and being kids? That's the problem nowadays. They don't want, it's like kids aren't being kids anyway. Especially if, you definitely shouldn't be talking if, you're a parent and your kids are, in phones and tablets and TVs all day long, instead of going out and playing and being kids. That's what these kids should be worried about, being kids. Not trying to grow up too fast and all these other things. And then y'all want to force them into things that they might not even want to be into. Kids naturally gravitate towards things that they are comfortable with. And as they grow older, they may grow out of certain toys and things, and they'll pick up new interests and new things that, that they want to do over time. And then even if they don't, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's the toxic masculinity that no one talks about. Well, I'm not going to say nobody talks about, because we have been talking about it a lot. I will say that there has been a lot of talks about it, but we really need to do better. We need to do better. And stop, trying to make these kids feel like they're wrong, or that something is wrong with them because they want to play with a specific thing that you don't feel comfortable with them playing with. It's not about you. When you have children, it's no longer about what you want or what makes you all the way comfortable. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, we should be comfortable, with ourselves, and of course, we as parents, we obviously make the decisions for our children, because obviously we all do have, know what's best for our children. But at the end of the day, you also have to have an open mind a little bit. Not too open, not super open, no. You know what I mean? Not super open, but open enough. Open enough. That's the problem with a lot of the world too. A lot of people are so close-minded, and they're just so it's like they want to shove their opinions down everyone else's throat. And that's not how that works. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody has their own views and their own outlooks on things, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But for y'all to blatantly have so many issues with so many things that these kids are doing nowadays, it's crazy. But y'all rather your kids be rather your sons be on the corners and, and having bars and drinking and selling drugs and all these things, instead of letting them want to be something great and something beautiful and powerful and really use their God-given talents. I just want to know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Because, it's a lot of women, too, that have issues with that, too. And I just, a lot of people, a lot of us as women and men, a lot of us were not raised with certain, a lot of us some of us were born and raised on survival, and, how to get on top and all that type of stuff. Some of us were raised by hustlers and, raised to be hustlers and hustle and get it any way you can get it. And some of us were raised by scammers and people like that. And then you have people that were raised with love and, they were spoken to with beautiful affirmations and, perfectly cared for and taken care of. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with raising your kids how you see fit for you. What works best for you, obviously, don't have to work right for everyone else. But what I'm saying is, we need to come to at least a little bit more of agreement to the fact that we, as a whole, we got to use some common sense when it comes to raising these kids. And just letting some things be what they truly are. And not make them more than what they need to be. And then why is this such a big big social media topic anyway? Honestly, if you don't know, that this is basically a new or brand new podcast for me, a whole new, station and everything like that. So I've had a podcast before with a lot of different content and things like that, and I didn't always talk about everything that was trending and stuff like that. Some things I did that obviously piqued my interest, and I would, but most things I've talked about were real issues, and this is a real issue, or really deep topics that we should be talking about as a whole. Not just, in the black community, but as a unit, as a country. As a country, So, I'm gonna end my talk right here. So, I will speak to you guys later.